Good morning, everyone. We are going to wait a few more minutes here as we see more attendees getting online. We can see them popping in as I speak right now. So give us another minute or so, be patient, but we will be starting fairly soon. Okay, so we continue to see people popping on, but I do want to go ahead and get started. And I know everybody's got busy days. So I'm Tracy Vaughn. I'm the Senior VP for the Global Trade Development Team here at Visit Lauderdale. And I want to welcome everyone to our quarterly partner meeting that we do. And this is our summer edition, I like to think of it. So I'm here with the team. You'll see Caitlin, Paul, Roger, Hassan, and we have a new member of the team, Wileen. She's with us as well, but I want to go ahead and show you the agenda. As I stated, we've got a lot to cover today. The agenda, we do have our new staff introduction. I'll do that in just a second. We're going to talk about our Lauderdale loyalist. The team is going to talk about what we've been doing in the third quarter for fiscal year 2024 and what's coming up as we wrap up 2024, the fiscal year, which will end in September. So they're going to share you what they've been up to and what's coming up and where you can participate with us. So you're going to hear from each of the team members about that. We're going to have a highlight on Brazil. And if you've been on some of the last two, well, we had one in January in person, and then the last quarterly, we started doing this feature where we're giving you lots of information about some of the markets that we're in. And so today we're going to highlight Brazil, such an important market for us. And I know this is one of everybody's favorite, is Ted's going to share with us his updates as well. So that's kind of our agenda today. So let's get started here. And I do want to introduce you to Wileen Aluzma. Wileen just joined us literally on Monday, started officially, but she is our administrative assistant. She's actually been working with Visit Lauderdale on a temporary basis for a year now. But we are absolutely delighted to have been able to bring her on to work not only as our administrative assistant, but she will also be the face of the company because she's also a receptionist. She is so excited to be here. I tell everybody we're a small but mighty team, but we're a little bit mightier now. She's bringing her big smile and her enthusiasm. So we're thrilled to have her as part of the team. So if you come see us, she's the first person you're going to see. She'll welcome you very warmly. So welcome, Wileen. We're so happy to have you. And moving forward, I'm going to pass it over to Hassan to tell us about the Loyalist program.
Good morning, everyone. This is by the numbers for the Lauderdale Loyalist. To date, registered, we have 4,115 total registered guest loyalists. Graduates at 1,720. The top countries keep increasing. US, of course, we have big numbers. Canada follows, UK, and then Brazil and Germany tied in this time at 30. So with our passport, has been very famous. A lot of people want it. I was just at the cruise one last night, and they were excited to be able to have an incentive. So we have a total of 173 VIP passes that have been distributed. That is actually up 73 from our meeting back in April. So the numbers keep growing. Water taxi is very popular on that one. They get 50% off. So it's going great. So keep selling it, guys, and they love it. And Roger, on to you. You
Good
muted.
morning, everybody. I am coming to you on our sales mission. We are currently in Cleveland, getting ready to have a luncheon and a lunch and learn session with 40 travel advisors up here, actually. So then we'll move down to Columbus and have another one tomorrow. So I am on the road selling all of Greater Fort Lauderdale with our partners, Margaritaville, Hollywood Beach Resort, and AC Fort Lauderdale Beach. So I'm happy they are. I think they're actually on the call too. So we're going to head out here shortly. But April through June, we had Cruise 360, where we partnered with Port Everglades and several other partners to have a booth on the trade show floor as part of our partnership with CLIA and Cruise 360. We also hosted several smaller site inspections / FAMs while they were in market, such as the Jungle Queen and a food tour. So they got to see some of the destination while they were here. We also partnered with Visit Florida and Travel Weekly for the annual Sunshine Ambassador FAM. This is, I believe, at least the second year we have done this, where they bring VIPs into our market and do kind of only two travel advisors came in. So we got to really do some VIP experiences for them throughout the destination. We then had our local South Florida Spring Affair up in Deerfield Beach. It was a great turnout of the local South Florida ASTA members. Before going to the AAA Auto Club training aboard the Celebrity ship, where I trained 120 travel advisors on the ship with the AAAs from the California market. And then ASTA Travel Advisor Conference was in Dallas, a great hit this year. The picture in the corners, me in the booth there. And then Signature Regional Conference, we were a sponsor of in Chicago's regional conference, where I had 15 minutes on the stage at the breakfast session to train all of the advisors attending the Signature Regional Conference in Chicago. And then they came to our destination for their Fort Lauderdale and South Florida conference. And we were able to partner with Pleasant Holidays and take one of their clients out on a FAM while they were not having their training sessions for Signature. Upcoming, you will see we have GTM next week. We kick it off on Tuesday with the pre-FAM. We go into the actual GTM Elite convention at the Diplomat for the weekend, and then we do the post-FAM immediately following. So a very busy week for me and Hassan and the team for the next week and a half. We then have the Cruise Planners Luxury Forum that is in Playa del Carmen, where I'll be on a panel for luxury travel for suppliers with luxury travel suppliers. And then heading to the Royal Caribbean Trunk Show up at Port New Jersey, I believe it is, where we'll partner with Visit Florida for that one. And we're just in the workings now that our fiscal budget is getting approved starting October 1st. So soon you'll see a partner opportunity for a Maine and New England ASTA regional events. They always pair them together. So we'll do a sales mission up in that region around 10:15 to 10:18. And those partner opportunities will be loaded soon. We're going to attend the AAA Travel Conference October 24th through the 28th. This is a new one for us. I will head out to Ocean City, California to check out this conference that we've learned about. Tracy and I did with a meeting with them and find out how we can better align with AAAs throughout the country. And then Cruise World will be upon us yet again, November 6th through the 8th, and there will be partner opportunities with that as well. One thing that didn't make this is because we're still working with them, there will also be cruise planners in here in October. That's again at the Broward County Convention Center, but we're still in negotiations with them on what exactly that partner opportunity will look like. So more to come on that, but I look forward to seeing you guys all back in the Greater Fort Lauderdale area very soon.
Thank you, Roger. So now we're going to turn it over to Paul. He'll tell us about Canada and in Europe.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm Paul Mason, and a lot of exciting things that have gone on over the past few months in Canada, the UK, and Europe from April through June. Starting off with Virtuoso in Montreal on tour is the program. had the pleasure of sponsoring their lunch and speaking for about 10 minutes or so in a blizzard. So we brought a little sunshine to Montreal, which, believe it or not, in April 4th and 5th, they still have blizzards and snow in Canada. That's why they love coming here. And we also had 30 appointments. That's why we really love the Virtuoso on tour. These are your higher level travel agents. And again, we are a part of Virtuoso throughout the globe. IPW, you see here, we're going to talk about that in a couple of slides coming up. A lot to tell about that as we get ready for IPW 25 and 26 here in Fort Lauderdale. Lieb, we work with Lieb, as you know, as our German representation company. They represent all of the German-speaking regions of Europe. They brought a PR and media fam here in mid-May, which was hosted by Ebony, a part of our marketing team. They had a wonderful time here, and there have been some certain articles that have been written in Germany about that fam. We also had the Dirt Tour fam, and thank you to all of our partners who were a part of this. And would like to also extend a thank you for all of our partners that do sponsor, give prizes, and also, as Roger said, attend with us to our conferences and opportunities that we do have for partners to come with us. The Dirt Tour fam was a huge success, and we'll talk about that a little further in the lead presentation. But they were here for 3 days. It was their travel agents that feed into Dirt Tour, and all of them had such a wonderful time. And it was in partnership with Tampa. And a lot of our fam tours that we do host are in coordination with other locations throughout the state of Florida. Because again, most people come here and they will visit other areas. So we partner with them to show that and showcase it. We had the Brand USA Canada Connect mission, 3 days, or actually 4 days, 3 cities, Toronto, Montreal, and Calgary. So it was quite the road show. In Toronto, we had about 30 appointments. The other 2 shows in Montreal and Calgary were more of stands and the travel agents coming through to talk with us. We were able to give out prizes at each of the events, and our prizes were considered the best. So again, thank you for everyone that is able to give us prizes and sponsorships for our area to showcase. And Tracy attended Travel Marketplace with a partner just this past week, and we've already started to book business from that. We've heard some reports from some of our hotel partners, so fantastic to hear about that, especially so close to the dates. It just happened the end of June. So what's to come? Up and coming in Canada, the UK, and Europe, we have the Orlando Sales Mission next week, so I'll be on the road with 3 partners. We have several appointments with receptive and wholesale operators, student tour operators, and we have an event on Wednesday evening at Pinstripes. We'll have over 20 to 25 tour operators and wholesalers coming in to learn more about the 3 partners that are going with us and the entire greater Fort Lauderdale region. Looking forward to that. We leave Monday morning. We have the Virtuoso Canadian Training Webinar. This is a really great opportunity that we were able to secure just a few weeks ago, where myself and I believe Roger will also be presenting about North America. We get to speak to all of the travel agents that are a part of Virtuoso throughout Canada and North America. We don't have exact numbers, but it will be several hundred that will be attending that day webinar. We have the Scandinavian Air Canada FAM coming up September 2nd through the 5th. I believe we have on that one 7 to 8 agents that will be coming. We have Travel Marketplace in Calgary, and what's great about that, Tracy and I will be going to Travel Marketplace in Calgary, but we're also going to be visiting the WestJet corporate offices, doing meetings with them, with Visit Florida Canada, and other suppliers that will be there. It's a fantastic opportunity for us to really have more discussions and conversations with a major airline that does come to Fort Lauderdale. Then we have the Ignite UK fam. Ignite is also one of our representation companies that we work with in the UK and in Ireland. So they're coming here to see all of the hotels that are represented in the tour guides and tariffs of tour operators in the UK and in Ireland. They're very excited about this. You sell what you know, and they can't wait to see the entire area. Hablo will be coming right after that. So yeah, I call September my fam month. It's quite a whirlwind of fams coming in for September. Hablo is a communication platform, mainly in the UK, but they reach out throughout all of Europe, Ireland, as well as Latin America, and they're starting to branch into North America. Some of you are a part of their platform already, and we're looking forward to getting many more partners on board with that. They'll be bringing actually 5 to 6 agents with them that have actually won a spot. And something that I should note here with all of our fams that we have globally with our partners, they actually do have to go through our Lauderdale Loyalist program and be certified so they are able to come here. And that's what Hablo did. They ran a program with prizes, and part of the prize, if you were able to finish and go into a lottery, was a trip here to come see the greater Fort Lauderdale region. And then we have the Brand USA Mega Fam, which we're very excited about. It's only a day, but it's a part of a huge fam across North America where they will meet in Chicago to talk about their experiences. We have the pleasure of hosting 10 UK and Ireland tour operators, as well as British Airways, Aer Lingus, and I believe American Airlines will also be here. So again, thank you for all of your support and partnership. We'll be reaching out for opportunities during those FAMs and in September. Let's talk about LEAD and their activities in April and June, and they were very busy as well. They had a group press trip, FAM in May of 24. The flights were sponsored by Air Canada. That's something else that I'd like to bring up. I know that Tracy talks about this a great deal as well. It's a part of the Sixth Freedom program where there are cities in Europe that Air Canada does service. And what we're doing is using Air Canada to literally bridge the gap through customs in Toronto or Montreal and then fly directly here. It saves a lot of time for our tour operators and for our end consumers, obviously. And it also has them coming directly to us through Toronto and Montreal, as opposed to going to Orlando first or Miami first. We are actually having a great partnership with Air Canada Europe. They are allotting tickets for us to bring those tour operators here. And you'll see that in most of our FAM trips coming up. We also have participation in agency PR Roadshow. Roya, who is a part of LEAD, was in Munich, Berlin, and Hamburg. She had over 170 media participants. As I mentioned earlier, we also had the Tour Trade FAM, which LEAD also was a part of. They had 14 qualified travel agents, and I would love to read this quote, which came from the product specialist of Tour. We are all back in Germany again. Paul and Ilona, thank you again for such a fantastic time in Fort Lauderdale. We are physically back in Germany, but our minds are still there with you. They had a wonderful time. They enjoyed the experience here and then later on in Tampa. And you're going to see a lot more of these fans. We have another one coming up in December, actually, with Air Canada, with LEAD, in conjunction with Kissimmee. So more about that coming up as we get ready for the next fiscal year. We also had a Canusa campaign with LEAD, with the Florida Keys and Air Canada. It was a 2-month campaign. And there are the stats below of what they're doing. 2 million impressions, 73,000 Facebook, 11.7 followers on Instagram, and 200,000 ad interests in Pinterest. Also print and media newsletters to 60,000 of their targeted readers. So very excited about those activities from April and June. And what are they looking at? And Ilona and Roya are pictured there with Rolf from LEAD. They were very excited to share their 4th of July pictures with us at one of their functions. So happy 4th from LEAD. What they're going to be doing over the next few months, press releases, pitches, and media liaison, which is what they normally do through Roya. They'll be doing what's new and Visit USA articles for us, Visit USA Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. They're going to identify, obviously, opportunities for individual press trips, which Ebony and our marketing and media department will also manage. The FDW Media Podcast, which is one of the largest podcast and radio companies in Germany. They have a 30-minute program, and it will be 1.5 million recipients that will actually reach to. There's going to be participation in the Unique Travel Show. This is a very good show for us. It is luxury oriented. You're looking at luxury travel agents and tour operators. It will be in September in Mallorca. And then we have the Florida Partner Showcase with Travel Zoo. And apparently in Germany, you have to be a member of Travel Zoo to actually be a part of a lot of the programs that they do offer. So the campaign will be directed at tour operators, travel agents, and end consumers in Germany. And we just signed off on that the other day. So very excited about that. And let's talk about IPW. IPW this past year was in Los Angeles through May 3rd through the 7th. We had a press conference that Stacy Ritter did host. I'm very excited about this, announcing IPW 2026 in Fort Lauderdale. And Tracy will tell us more about that in the next slide. We had 13 partners with us and over 20 people from Visit Lauderdale. Our executive team went, as well as 5 members of the convention center staff attended as well, kind of to get the back end tour to get ready for 2026. So again, they got a lot of great ideas, looking at ways that we can improve and make a great show here in the next couple of years. We had over 160 trade and 50 plus media marketing appointments over that 3-day period. And it does not include the 4 partners that had 10 by 10 booths within our booth itself. They were mostly full as well in terms of appointments, which meant that they had about 120 all total, or I'm sorry, 160 all total as well. Chicago next year, IPW in 2025 will be June 14th through the 18th. We are increasing our development of a booth presence as well as partner involvement. And there'll be a lot more to come about partner involvement over the next few months. We are looking for all partners that are interested in being a part of this experience. It is an incredible show. It's all about international inbound. And as we build up for 2026, I highly, highly suggest that you look at attending with us or being a partner in some way. Thank you, everybody.
Paul, excuse me. So next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about IPW 2026. I just want you to know that we are well on our way to planning this event in May of 2026. And we've had our first, speaking of partners, we're tapping partners obviously to help us and support this in planning and so forth. We had our first planning session in May. We appreciate everybody that participated and joined us there. We're going to continue these. We've got another one coming up where we're talking about all of the different elements of the program. And it's just such a big and going to be such an amazing program for us to be hosting this group. Probably around 6,000 people, buyers from throughout the world. And we're very excited about it and just looking to tap all the resources. We're going to have U.S. travel staff back down here next month to do a hard hat of the space, the new space on the east side of the convention center, which is absolutely amazing for that ballroom space that we're going to have, the 65,000 square foot. We're working with Disney Cruise Line at the moment. We're going to see their space as well, which is Terminal 4, and it's just steps away, and we're looking for some opportunities to be able to showcase that as well. We're talking to CLIA, the Cruise Line Industry Association, as well about some opportunities tied in as well. So we're really going to be able to elevate this program to a level that no one else will be able to copy anywhere, considering the port and the convention center right there and how important the cruising side of this is for us. So we're very excited about the planning. It's 675 days away, I believe, Hassan, is what we came up with. So we're counting down.
That's the number.
That's the number. We're excited for it. So just want to keep everybody up to date. You have any questions about it, you have ideas. We've got great ideas. Olivia from our team here, our convention services, she is doing an amazing job of kind of coordinating, the planning session, her ideas. She's got some brilliant ideas about how opening night will look, what closing night, how it will look. We had a great conversation in the last couple of weeks with Visit Florida, what their participation is going to be. So we want all of you involved in some way. So we'll be tapping you. So certainly reach out to any of this team if you have ideas you'd like to share, because we will be certainly tapping you. So that's the update for IPW 2026. And now we're going to jump into Latin America and Caitlin.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to dive in here, just talk to you a little bit about what we've done the last quarter in Latin America, where we're heading forward, and then dive in deep with Brazil so you can get a country update there. But we have been very active in these main markets this past quarter. Thanks to our project work in Argentina, Brazil, and Colombia, we have been able to continuously train our agents and make expansive brand presence in these markets. And one thing that I want you to remember as we're going through all of this is that old-fashioned travel agent is a real thing in these countries. It's still very much happening. Okay, so just recently when I was in the sales mission in Colombia, we did an office visit, and I was in there waiting. I was sitting in the lobby waiting for the appointment, and I started texting, as we all do, back to my colleagues at home. And, I said, let me just kind of describe to you what is happening right here. So I decided to paint the picture to my colleagues, and let me paint it now for you. So imagine it's 1983. There's a giant world map painted on the wall as you walk in. There's a large U shape of agents, all behind plastic separators. You can hear a gentle hum, typing and chattering. Reserve here, signs at every desk. uniformed agents with red scarves around their necks, something like a fax sound in the background, lots of bookings happening. So that is what it is like walking into a Colombian travel agency right now, today, if you're going to do that. And that's just one of many in that country and all throughout Latin America. So that face-to-face, that training of these travel agents is still very much, an important goal for us here at Visit Lauderdale. So although, as I talk through here, with Colombia, I do think that OTAs and online bookings is growing, and it is in Brazil as well. It is still very important for these buyers to for the consumers to talk to these travel agents, because remember, it's an international travel for them, right? So they are seeking guidance, they seek information, and it's our job to be there and give that information to those travel advisors and tour operators. So just remember that as we go through all of this here. So, in Argentina, Vanina, our rep there, she was very busy leveraging our Visit USA membership and attending workshops with them, doing tour operator trainings with two of the large ones, Delfos Turismo and Swan Turismo. It was a very active quarter in Brazil for us. WTM Latin America, successful trade show held in Sao Paulo every year. We do bring partners. Courtyard, Fort Lauderdale Beach attended with us. It is, they do bring buyers from all over Latin America. It's not just from Brazil, although they have a heavy presence there. We then continued on to two different cities in Brazil that offered direct service with Azul. We went to Belo Horizonte and to Recife. It was great to see some advertising when we were walking through the Belo Horizonte airport. We saw Fort Lauderdale right there, painted on one of their billboards there. So that was really great to see in person. And another quick fact there, we are all known, as we know, as the Venice of the Americas. And Recife, one of the cities we visited, is also known as the Venice of Brazil. So that was kind of nice to have that there. And Cauê, our Brazilian rep, he continued on the next week to finish another sales mission with Visit Florida. So he was back in Sao Paulo meeting with key tour operators there, and able to finalize some important co-ops, which I'm going to highlight in a minute for us. And then he went on to Curitiba. Cauê also represented us at Virtuoso Connect in Sao Paulo right before ILTM Latam, which we could not assist this year, attend this year. But it was great timing. We had a sponsorship there. He was allowed to speak on stage, show our video to the entire audience. So just as Paul mentioned, we're really working that Virtuoso membership throughout the international markets there. And as you will see in my next upcoming slides too, the Brazilian luxury market is growing. So it's something we want to pay attention to. We then partnered with PRGA, a Brazilian receptive out of Orlando, who brought us a fam here. That was great. Not only did they bring us buyers from Brazil, but also some from Spain and Portugal, which I'm going to highlight in a minute as well. And we're going to continue to work that partnership with PRGE and continuing to grow the product that we have with them and making sure that their Orlando reps are well versed in what we have to offer here. And that was also a fam in partnership with Brightline. So, we're continuing to see that obviously we know how important it is that Brightline's bringing those buyers, the consumers down from Orlando. So we're continuing to work with them whenever possible. Moving on to Colombia, also one of our most active quarters for actions in Colombia. That's really a trend here because we're doing this on purpose. It's a short booking window for most of Latin America, especially Colombia. And so, it's their active time right now in the summer for them to come visit us. So it's important for us to be there, with lots of actions in May and June as we get ahead for their booking window and for their time to travel in July and in October. Luis is our Colombian rep. He had several in-person trainings and sales calls, too many to list on here. He also leveraged our membership with Visit USA and participated in various events. And then we, as you can see listed here, Achapalo, Price Travel, Global Mercado, Viajes Éxito, lots of in-person trainings with them. And we were able to have some co-ops, which we're going to highlight in just a minute. With our sales mission that we had, we were able to go to 3 different cities. We went to Medellin, Barranquilla, and to Bogota. We ended there. It was great. I'm going to, at the end, Tracy's gonna give you a little quick highlight of something to come where you can see some more detailed information about some of our actions there. So I'll leave that for the end there. But we have lots of going on, and with Columbia, it's continuing. We also had a Visit Florida FAM, a small VIP one at the beginning of June. That was great. It was with a small group, so we were able to see some different things that we don't always get to see. We went to the brewery, went to riverfront gondolas. It was great, and we will continue to work that relationship with Visit Florida to bring in those important buyers. And then in Peru and in Ecuador, we do not have a representative in these markets, but thanks to that sales mission that we did back in September, we have been able to continue that momentum in these countries. We did a Visit USA webinar. There was over 100 agents on the webinar. We were able to bring the Visit Florida FAM that had 4 buyers from Ecuador and 4 buyers from Peru as well. So we continue to work this market wherever we can. And next slide, Hassan. So with these co-ops here, thanks to our meetings at Anato in February, WTM, LATAM in April, and our sales missions, we have been able to successfully bring these co-ops to our ad agency and leverage these efforts in the markets. So really for minimum investment, mostly around $5,000 each, we've been able to create these vast campaigns and packages featuring social media, WhatsApp marketing, which is really important there, traditional in-store imagery, emails, trainings, etc. We have 5 different active campaigns, so we don't have any numbers to report to you yet because they are currently active, but between Colombia and Brazil, we're really working to push the summertime visitation and sales that will bleed into that October time that I had mentioned. For the first time, we have also included some Latin American countries in our hotel beds campaign, which I know that Paul will report on probably in our next meeting. And we have continuous buys with ABC Mundial, which is basically a media company that pushes out our content throughout South America, mostly in Argentina, Colombia. Mundo Turístico, which gave us our the cover page of a magazine that was given out to all buyers at IPW. And then we had some specific buys with the Devi and Penrotas to feature pre and post cruise options that were published all throughout Latin America in print and digitally. And then I just want to show you a quick little video, which was something that was included in our buy in Brazil for one of our tour operators. So you can click.
If you wanna feel amazing right now, flash up your lights and color the whole town. Lauderdale. Hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, I color out loud, repping my town. Lauderdale.
Really quick little snippet, but as we know, that soccer mania has arrived to the United States and is certainly here in South Florida, and we are doing everything that we can, with Latin America to just kind of sprinkle that love of soccer everywhere and let them know that soccer is here in Greater Fort Lauderdale as well. So what is coming up? We have lots going on, lots of FAMs. You've probably received some of our emails, although sometimes I think you aren't, because we don't really receive that many responses back. It's usually from the same partners over and over. And we really would love to showcase to as many partners as we can and really create diverse experiences for our buyers. So please look at these emails. Please look here. Let me know if you're interested in having these FAMs at your property, doing a site inspection, hosting a meal, etc. Thanks to our incredible partnership with Spirit Airlines, they are really pushing these international sales right now. So they are our hometown airline, and they are bringing lots of different groups of buyers throughout the next couple of months for us. They are sponsoring the tickets for us. We have an upcoming Colombian FAM in August, buyers from Bogota, Cali, Medellin, Bucaramanga, Pereira. And then in September, we're going to bring buyers from the DR, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Peru. You're going to hear Colombia a lot because it is, they do have such a strong presence, Spirit does, and they really are looking to grow that market. So it's important to them, and we're committed to that with them. And then in the Interrep Brazilian luxury FAM was scheduled for September. This did just recently get postponed to November. Just a quick note, this is the only Virtuoso tour operator in Brazil. So Virtuoso tour operator, Brazil. Think luxury and act on this soon in November, these. The next one we have is our mega fan with Celebrity Cruise Lines out of Mexico. This is another one that came out of us working the market in person. We did an in-person training in Monterrey, Mexico last November. And then we've been able to continue this relationship with them. And now we have this awesome mega fam really planned for November. So we're looking for we have the post rooms secured already, but we are still looking for these pre-fam hotels. If anybody's interested in this, the Mexican market loves cruising, and this is a nice market to go after. Celebrity Cruise Lines, you can see it right there. So I do need to get this finalized probably by the end of this week. And then as for upcoming travel, we have not attended Feature in Argentina for several years. I will be back there in September right now. We have a small table within the Visit USA booth, and we will be working with our Argentina rep to assist there. And then for next fiscal year, as Roger mentioned, we don't have it totally finalized yet, but we are committed to explore the Spain and Portugal market, mostly Spain as a new market. Spain is popping up on Visit Florida's radars, as well as we see it on hotel beds. And we've decided to actively go after it. We're going to attend this sales mission that is put on through Avia Reps in Spain and Portugal. And then in January, we'll be attending the FEET trade show in Madrid. So more to come on these markets. So that's just kind of a snippet there of what's coming up for Latin America. And then now we're going to dive in deep. I know we don't have too much time because everybody wants to hear from Ted as well, but we're going to highlight Brazil as a country. Let me get my notes over here. This country to the south of us, lots of people say to me, well, I didn't realize it was that far away, right? So with so many Brazilians living here, I personally feel like they're just one of our neighbors. They're just like down by Mexico, but really they're not. Sao Paulo is about 8 hours away with a direct flight. It's far. It's over 4,000 miles in between Fort Lauderdale and Sao Paulo. This country covers nearly half of the entire South American continent, and it's actually slightly larger than Australia. If Brazil was superimposed over the USA, it would cover the equivalent of over 18 states in the USA, including two of our largest states, Texas and California. So it's a big country. There's a lot to do. Keep this in mind. You can see some of these key cities that we have active flights on. You can go to the next one, Hassan, if you don't mind here. So when you think about Latin American visitation to the USA, Brazil really needs to be first of mind. This is the largest source of LATAM visitors to the United States. Certainly one of our most strong ones here in Fort Lauderdale as well. And their economy as a whole is holding strong for South America. Flights to the USA are pretty much back to pre-pandemic levels. Not quite, but just about there. And Fort Lauderdale really has its fair share. You can see on this next slide here that Brand USA put out, where all of the seat capacity through all the incoming airports where they're coming in through, even though, as you'll see in the next couple of slides, and we probably know this living here in South Florida, Orlando is a huge market for Brazilians, right? But this slide really proves that South Florida continues to bring in the majority of the Brazilian market, and Fort Lauderdale is right there. In the next slide, you can see the breakdown here. So Azul is a huge partner for us at Fort Lauderdale International Airport, but we're also receiving Brazilian travelers coming in through Delta via Atlanta's direct flight. United Airlines, we work with their reps as well. They come in on direct flights through Houston and then take another flight over to Fort Lauderdale. And we, of course, know that a lot are coming in through Orlando, coming down on the Bright Line, or coming in through Miami and spending a couple of days and then coming up to visit us as well, or going on a cruise. So there's a lot of activity here. The next slide here, not only is Brazil the largest driver of inbound tourism for LATAM, but it's also the fourth largest nationally inbound from overseas. So excluding Canada and Mexico, we know those are huge markets. You can see here in this chart where Brand USA's forecasts are for inbound Brazilian market travel into the entire United States. As I mentioned before, their economy is stable. There was a slight pause this spring slowdown. It was a little bit, they had a little bit of a slowdown due to their tragic floods. Maybe some of you saw it in their on the news to the south. it has left one of their major airports in Porto Alegre still shut down through December. So that is affecting some of the travel and some of their economy there. So good to know. On the next slide here, just some tidbits here, so you know a little bit more about the market. Continuing to talk about their economic impact to the USA, you can see that spending in the entire United States was worth over $6 billion. So 35% of Brazilian travelers are expected to spend between $2,500 and $5,000 on their next trip. And family travel continues to prove strong. And their impressions about the United States also is strong and favorable. And I think this is important as we're in an election year, and sometimes we're hesitant about what's going on in the world and what our perception is internationally. In Brazil, the perception of the US is pretty good. So continue on and let's grow this market. Similar to other Latin American countries, the busiest month for Brazilian travel to the USA is going to be July, December. January, I think, is interesting. And of course, Easter week, so Carnival week, things like that. The US Commercial Service tells us more of what we know to be true. Brazilians really don't just come to visit one city. They're going to visit probably 3 or more, which is good for Fort Lauderdale. And then the next slide here, what are Brazilians looking for when they're choosing their next destination? Well, this slide should make you all happy. All of their top important factors really here, to me, it really speaks all of Florida, right? So we know that we have all kinds of these top things right here. This speaks Florida. So we have everything that the Brazilian market is looking for. And the next slide here, I did find this breakdown pretty useful. You can see how the Brazilians are spending their money. I personally think that they're shopping maybe a little bit more, right? I don't know if David Lydia from Sawgrass is on here. He might have more information for us. But this is per visitor. So more to kind of take into account here, median average age, etc. Some of this might be useful for your own marketing. And the next slide, you can see just more detailed information. Yes, we know they're shopping. They're sightseeing. The amusement parks, I think, is a little bit low. I don't know about you, Tracy, on this one, because I know you've worked the Brazilian market a while too. I think here in Florida, we know that they love to come to Orlando and go to the amusement park. So I thought it would be a little bit higher, but I was surprised a little bit about casinos as well. So, thanks to this, I know I don't need to talk too much about casinos. I mean, I think they love to go and take pictures by the Hard Rock. They love to post them on Instagram, things like that. But from this information here, it's not as important to them to actually go and spend money like other international markets. And in the next slide here, just more information about when they are making that decision to book and actually book their airlines. So still pretty short-term market. And some of the travel trends here for the Brazilian travelers, as I mentioned before, luxury is growing in Brazil, as it really is, I think, a trend worldwide. But some of those top luxury destinations for Brazilian travels, thanks to this was put out through ILTM and Penrotas. So United States is top there. And I think it's interesting to see what their trends are. What are they looking for? That quiet luxury, that makes me happy as well, because that speaks greater Fort Lauderdale. They're looking for sports celebrations, those special events. We had that as well. The Instagrammable places, cruises. So this is who we are. So let's take advantage of it. And then the next slide here, we have, of course, some more detailed information, some top destination searches in Google for Brazil, Orlando right there, Buenos Aires. We know that a lot of Brazilians are traveling, of course, to their neighbor in Argentina, but USA, we continue to be right there. And CVC Corp is one of the largest distribution companies in Brazil. They actually have several other brands underneath them, as you can see listed right here. And we do have a co-op right now with one of them, with Visual Turismo. They have over 1,000 actual storefronts in Brazil. And so their top USA destinations that they're booking right now, you can see listed right here. Fort Lauderdale's not right on there, but we bleed right into them. It doesn't, it's not alarming to me. And we are currently working the market for them. So year to date, though, they did have 4,300 passengers to GFL, and that is more than in 2019. Yeah, you can go right to the next one. Thanks, Hassan. So more probably what you do know, Brazilian travels, they're known for their active and extensive use on social media. They love Instagram. Okay. So they are absolutely influenced by the communication, entertainment, business, and politics on Instagram. So 92% of them are using Instagram. So with our co-ops that we're doing, a lot of it is via Instagram. I don't know what that 2% one is. That's blacked out. That doesn't matter, 2%, right? But but just to keep this in mind, okay? So it is more, you know, just recently I did the FAM, I did a Colombian FAM, Peru, Ecuador, and I had done the Brazilian one in May. Vast differences, right? The Peruvians and the Ecuadorians are not using Instagram as much as the Brazilian market. This picture is an actual FAM. Hassan and I were there, and we could not get them away from Hollywood Beach Broadwalk. They just wanted to stay and take pictures and Instagram all morning long because that's what they love to do. And that's great. That's good for everyone. So just finishing up here a little bit more about what we've done. I did talk about this just recently. You can go to the next slide, Hassan. I did talk a little bit about this before, what we've been doing, but you can see just, and take note if you want, follow up with me if you want more information on these top tour operators. If something's interesting, if you're interested in doing a co-op with us for the next fiscal year, we can look at this. We can look at growing it together. So this is just kind of what we did. And the next one, this FAM one, as you know, I sound like a broken record always. What we're doing with these FAMs, it's so important. And this testimonial here, I don't need to read it to you all. You can save it, you can screenshot it, and you can share it with your team because it is so important what we do when we bring these FAMs here to you. I can see it when they're sitting there with me. Like, they're just like, wow, I had no idea. You know, I had no idea that all of this was here. I can't wait to share it with everyone. So it really makes a difference, and we can see it in the numbers. And they just go back to their countries, they go back to their teams, they share all the pictures, all the videos that they did, and then they book our destination. So that's Brazil in maybe 8 minutes or more. If I probably talk too long, I really need some water. But I'm going to pass it on to Ted. Thank you. Please follow up with me if you have any questions about these markets. And I'm signing off for right now.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin. Apologize. Should have shut my phone off. All right. Well, this is a super interesting slide to start off with. I don't often get a slide that jumps off the page, which goes all over the place. So let's just dig into it. In April, April is 100% driven by, or nearly 100% driven by, Easter being in March this year. So if you look at the bottom, you look at this slide, sort of focus in, all you're seeing is a bunch of red. It's not greatly indicative of anything that's happening, but other than Easter moved into March. Again, still a strong performing month overall, good average daily rate, strong RevPAR, but ultimately April was all about April showers because there was no Easter there. Good news about April showers, they bring May flowers. So May is full of nothing but happiness. We look at it outperformed by 4% on a year-over-year basis in terms of occupancy. So again, there was a lot of interest, a lot of demand, a lot of people coming down to see us. And we have strong average daily rate. Usually average daily rate has been about 3% down. It was only 1% down in May. And if you look at the boom in RevPAR, you see 3% over performance in 2023. When we look back at April and May of 2022, that was when we got this very large boom of people who were able to travel after the pandemic for the first time. So that was sort of an amazing, very, very tough comparative. That should not take away from how well we did as a destination in May. So again, very positive, and demand is there. Now we'll move on to June. I choke up a little bit when I think about June. Oh, what might have been. The problem is, again, kind of on the childhood theme, April flowers to May, or April showers to May flowers. June was definitely evokes Sesame Street in my mind. One of these things is not like the other. The third week was terrible. There were probably, tens of thousands of people who did not make their way to the greater Fort Lauderdale area because it was a deluge of rain and flight cancellations. So, but the good news, again, we have sort of a glimmer, there's a silver lining in this cloud, because June looks as good, if not slightly better, than the average month in 2024. So even gutting the third week, the performance of June looks average to slightly above average. So you look at the average daily rate, it's 2% below. That's a little bit better than sort of the average we've been running, which is 3%. RevPAR also 2% down, and occupancy was largely flat. Look at demand, look at revenue. All of that is an improvement on a year-over-year basis and a year-over-2-year basis. So again, there's a lot of good news in here. I wish we could recoup, have another shot with better weather at the third week of June, but alas, that is not to come. Next slide, please. Now we get into more of the same. We get occupancy has been relatively flat on a year-over-year basis, sort of up year to date. You see average daily rate down 3%, and hotel revenue is down a little bit. That's a little discouraging, but again, demand is up 2% on a year-over-year basis. So we have been floating around flat to up 1% occupancy, down 3% in daily rate, with RevPAR being down around 3% as well. That is the theme. It's been continuing on. It's rolling forward. This would have looked a little bit better had June not had the rain, but ultimately the story is largely the same. We're moving similarly forward to where we have been before. Next slide, please. This is the fasten your seatbelt sign, because this is a complicated graph, but I will try to get it more digestible. Occupancy is relatively flat. Moving forward, this is for April, May combined. We are doing things to maintain where we're at on an occupancy level. Moving right, what do we do to maintain a relatively flat occupancy level? We mess with prices. So looking at what's happening in terms of prices, if you look in the middle orange bar with group, from 2022, we've pushed rate up by about $30. So that is moved along into group. The reaction to that has been, okay, we're not harvesting as much group as we like. Again, this is a market phenomenon, but it's sort of an intentional, these are the decisions that are made. Look what's happening in 2024. We've had to move transient rate down to make up for the high rates in the other channels. So that says, what do we have to do? You're seeing active participation by hotels to try to maintain occupancy, optimize their profitability. That's required a little bit of a downward trend in ADR from the transient world. And as you can see, occupancy and demand run together. It's relatively flat there in terms of the percentage of demand coming from the different channels. So again, I think that the pricing is being done well in our market. We should be very happy about that. And but again, we had to dip a little bit on rate because there are rate concerns, economy concerns, and demand concerns that continue to flow through. Next slide, please. The good news is that the forecast is showing that it's actually turning out to be quite accurate. You see occupancy is a little better than we are forecasting. ADR is a little bit worse, and RevPAR is about spot on with what we're doing. So in terms of forecast, this is quite accurate. This is not a tribute to anyone's forecasting skills, it's an easy time to forecast. Things are going in a neighborhood around 3% down ADR, flat to slightly up occupancy, and 2 to 3% RevPAR down. So again, that's the look for the future. Next slide, please. And as you can see, there's nothing interesting happening in this. Everything runs together. We're expecting to see more of the same. Will you see variance on a month-to-month basis? Yes. Are we sad June's not way above the line in terms of RevPAR? Certainly. But again, we are expecting to see more of the same on all of the major categories. Next slide, please. In terms of competitive set, not a lot. This is a lot of squiggly lines. If you look at ADR, you saw that the percent change in ADR for Orlando looked really good. Orlando and Naples are really the only standouts versus anybody else. The reason that Naples is standing out is that's coming back from Hurricane Ian. The reason that Orlando is standing out when you look at the ADR is because their recovery, theme park recovery, was slower than beach recovery. So again, not a lot exciting. Everybody, our destination is doing very, very well, as are most other destinations in the Florida comparative set. Next slide, please. Nothing going on in terms of pipeline. Really, the next big thing to happen in terms of pipeline is September of next year, when the Omni opens up and drops 800 hotel rooms on us. Then it's going to start a new sort of renaissance of building over the course of the fourth quarter of 2025 continuing on through 2027. Expect to see more properties then, but again, not a lot of changes from previous. Next slide, please. In terms of passenger volume, Fort Lauderdale is not quite up to 2019 levels, but hopefully that trend will push up closer to 2019 to bring more people to us to put in our hotels and eat in our restaurants, etc. Next slide, please. Miami is, they're growing. They've exceeded 2019 levels and have done that for a while. So again, not our primary deliverer of people, but again, positive signs coming out of Miami in terms of the growth that they're seeing. So we should be happy about that, particularly in the international world, because Miami is a much larger international entity than as a percentage as virtually any other airport in the United States. And last slide, please, for me. Great news with cruises. They're going to run their full 2019 schedule over the off-peak season. So May, June, July, August, September. So that's really good news. Disney's there, upgauging of ships from other cruise lines is led to cruises are all doing great, and that's going to continue. So with that burst of happiness, I will turn it back. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. I do want to just share that if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat and we will answer those. And we are taping this, so I didn't share that earlier on. So it's all available and will be on our site. So you can certainly listen to this and see it again. So just carrying on, I just want to share, Caitlin mentioned this a little bit earlier. One of the things that we're doing, and you can see we're doing a lot. This team is very busy. We're out and about doing those face-to-face. I appreciate Caitlin pointing out the importance of I just want to call it kind of old school, but it is the reality that we do the face-to-face meetings to understand the markets and get our messaging out, and it means so much. So I'm glad she brought that up. But one of the things we want to do is we want to keep you very informed about what we're doing. And so we are putting together for all the programs that we do and everything you just heard about what we've done and what we're about to do going into fourth quarter of 2024. We're going to be putting together for each program our fantastic 5 takeaways from each program that we do, and share this with you on our website. This will be for partners to be able to look at where we've been. You can see it. If you can't make these meetings, we know it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but it's all going to be here for you. Caitlin's actually filled this out. We're working with marketing to make it pretty so you can look at it. We understand time is of essence for you, and you don't have a lot of time to go and check things out, but we want you to know that it's there. If you have questions about what we're doing, you want to know what the programs, what's happening, why we are where we are. And so this is what we're doing now. It's still in the development stages, but we will have this up and running very, very soon. So working directly with our marketing team to make sure this information is easily available to you. So be on the lookout for that. It's coming soon. And then also next slide, Hassan. Always want to remind you to follow us, the Leisure Lauderdale. This is this team. We manage this, we control it, and it talks about where we are, what we're doing. You'll see it. I just want to share that Roger's just stepped off, and he'll probably will be loading up some stuff from his trip right now up to well, he's in Ohio. So if you're following us, you'll be able to see what we're doing, and we have agents that follow us as well. So please follow us on Leisure Lauderdale. And next slide. I want to share with you that there will be a partner event coming up on August 8th. The entire team from Visit Lauderdale will be sharing with you what we're up to, what's coming up. So be sure to join us at this. This is an in-person event. So mark your calendars now, August 8th at the Convention Center. And lastly, we want to share that we will have our quarterly partner meeting, which will be our fall version, will be on Thursday, October 17th. And this too will be virtual as we are today. So that's about it. Let me just see if we got any questions, if anybody has any questions here. Any updates on sports in the FLL market? Well, good question. Certainly with the sports team, and Glenn heads up the sports group and different groups that they bring in for lots of different things. And of course, we're excited, obviously, about the soccer that's coming up, and it's happening now, actually. But we know next year is the club event. And then following year, of course, is the World Cup. So it's the Club World Cup, and then it's the actual World Cup coming up. And we are, yes, somebody else is asking about FIFA. So we are working right now. It's certainly big messaging for us, Europe and certainly in Latin America, those countries as well. We get asked a lot, and we are working right now with marketing to make sure that messaging gets out about what people can do and how we're in this. So please know that it is on our agenda, and you'll be learning more about that. And we're working directly like with Glenn as well, because again, we're talking to the agents who are booking people, and this is the type of thing that people are doing. So we're looking at, and there, we have a small page at the moment on the website, but we're going to be developing a whole program around that as well. Is there anybody else want to make any comments on that? And of course, lots of different programs have been coming in that the sports team has been doing, particularly at the pool. So lots of different things are here. And certainly I know Glenn will be sharing more at this August 8th meeting. So anybody else have anything on the team that you want to share? Am I missing anything? We're a few minutes over, but Ted, thank you very much for all your updates. We always enjoy those. We know they were being hit, and let us know. We'd love to have you guys join us. So thank you again. Bye.
Thank you.